por aquí botaban todito el petróleo para abajo. Y esta casa nosotros la hemos hecho encima de la piscina, todo esto era una piscina. La piscina de lo que botaban el petróleo. Hicimos la casa y no nos hemos dado cuenta que nos para encima de la piscina.
I'm meeting Trudy Styler, Sting's wife. She and her husband founded the Rainforest Foundation, which is designed to help, groups in the rainforest who are trying to preserve their way of life. And, it's always been an interest of Trudy and Sting, and she's expressed interest in the case, and I'm going to go tell her about it and invite her to come to Ecuador to visit. If she agrees to come, it'll be huge, huge news in Ecuador. Part of our strategy is to build this kind of support. We've never really had a celebrity, of the level of Trudy, or obviously someone like Sting, who has identified themselves with this issue. But I think if they were to do that, it would put significant additional pressure on the company. So that's the goal here. Reasons, the town where we're going now is probably the most impacted town because its location is at an intersection of two rivers, both of which were terribly polluted by Texaco. And the fundamental problem in this town and in other places, there's no clean water.
Es un lugar donde, por medio de estudios, es el más contaminado dentro de las empresas petroleras.
What kind of ages are you seeing with people who are getting cancers?
Más o menos de qué edades?
De 18, de 19, la edad típica es joven.
Aquí está mi hija, la que sufre con el cáncer.
This is my child who suffers from cancer.
Ella se llama Silvia Llanes.
Sylvia Llanes is her name.
Ella tiene 18 años.
18.
Where is her cancer?
Tiene en el hígado.
In the liver?
Sí.
Can we ask everybody to just give Trudy a private moment with this family?
Thank you for sharing your story. And I didn't mean to add to your pain, but it's important that if I hear it, that we can share it with some of the people in the world who really care.
Doctor, dos minutos.
Who wants to start?
You're a wonderful man. So honored to meet you.
Eres un hombre buenísimo y está muy amable. Obviamente no te conoce, pero así es. In all the area that Texaco operated, they left 1,000 of these approximately. The majority you don't see anymore because they've covered them up with dirt. Some of them they covered up, and people actually live on top of the dirt that covered them up because they think that because they covered them up, they actually are clean. And it'd be like
You mean
living
they build their houses on top of it?
literally on top. You ever seen one of these before?
Never seen anything like this.
See, if you did this in the United States, you'd probably go to jail.
Did you
know what was going on here in the Ecuadorian Amazon before you came here, or are you just finding this out now?
Well, this is a story that we've been aware of for a while, and then obviously getting to know the story better through the Vanity Fair article that came out in America a few weeks ago. Reading a lot about Pablo Fajardo, who was the David in this David and Goliath story. Just being very inspired, really, by the man who's speaking on behalf of his people. So for Sting and myself, as founders of a human rights organization, we also would like to get involved in perhaps identifying a project in which we can support the indigenous communities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The one thing I would suggest to both of you is try to use the word Texaco as much as possible.
Okay.
You talk generally about this happened and, you know, sort of in the passive voice, but just try to mention the word Texaco as much as possible.
In the United States, we used to say, how much pollution can we clean up? And now what we ask ourselves is, how much pollution do we need to clean up for things to be safe for human health? And so the public may tend to think, oh, if you see something in the environment, it must mean that it's very bad. When in fact, people are exposed to hydrocarbons on a daily basis. The asphalt that is on our roads outside the window here are made from hydrocarbons and made from crude oil. The gasoline we put on our tank, people encounter hydrocarbons on a daily basis. That doesn't mean that those hydrocarbons are going to make you sick. And I know that's difficult to explain. It's because of the science behind it, but there is very proven science behind human health risk assessment, approved by the US EPA, and that's what Chevron's been doing to try to assess whether or not any of these health allegations are true or not.
A little bit about where we're going today. Okay, very important. We are going to a town called Deneno, which is a town where the Kofan people live. The Kofan are an indigenous group that 30 years ago, before Texaco came, had about 15,000 people who lived in this whole area. When the oil was found around here, they got displaced. And out of 15,000, there's now only a few hundred who live in this town. They're the only Kofan left on their ancestral territory. Okay? They are gathering, independent of us, to meet as a community, to talk to their lawyers, meaning Pablo and really myself, although I'm with you and not with the group, to talk about what they want as compensation for all the damage. Because we can't quite figure out how to compensate indigenous groups for something that probably can never be recovered, which is their culture and their land. The meeting will probably be in process when we get there, but it'll be a really, really interesting day.
Samba pa samba
Ahora también ella estaba contando que plátano también no carga bien y la yuca cuando siembra se crece pero se seca después. En vez de cargar se seca, por eso estamos perdiendo todos los productos que antes teníamos.
We have created a team of experts to help design a health treatment plan for this whole area. And Adolfo is part of that team.
Este es un niño que está viviendo al lado de una estación de petróleo.
This kid was living at the side of a oil station.
Murió.
He died. ¿Qué es eso?
Esto es que el niño no tiene músculos en el estómago.
He doesn't have muscles in his stomach.
Entonces el intestino se le cae hacia los lados.
Intestines just went to the side.
Men, women and children of the Kofan people. I come from England, and on behalf of my country and my foundation and my husband, I greet you all most humbly.
Hombres, mujeres y niños del pueblo Kofan, vengo de Inglaterra y en nombre mío y de mi esposa y de mi organización les doy el más cordial saludo.
Que mangi chiambia pushison de que zandien de conducción de que nyanda Inglaterra na hi zumba chiambia gi nya to ka nya zang de que pa khut nya song hai chune.
You are our teachers. Your connection to the most precious resource that we have, the rainforests of the world, which we call the lungs of the earth, we have learned that you have such important knowledge that it must not be destroyed.